Hey, this is Justin Prince, your virtual mentor, and I have a New Year's Eve message that no one is telling you, but that you absolutely need to hear. So here's the message. This year, in 2017 and beyond, you need to slow down. And so you're an achiever. If you're someone that's watching this or listening to this, you're someone that resonates with my message and my story, you're an achiever. You're a driving driver. You're someone who likes to get things done and make things happen, and you're an entrepreneur. You're in sales. You're someone that's looking to, really take your life to the next level. And I want to share with you the secret to doing this is actually slowing down. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. Have you ever had your phone, it like freezes up on you over time. You wear it out. And the best thing that you can do for your phone when that happens is to turn off all the applications and then to actually power the phone down, to shut the phone off and just not turn it off, but power it all the way down. A drop of one, if you've ever had that happen, where you had to you melted your phone down, you had to just shut the engines down. Well, the only way to reset the phone is to power it all the way down and then let it rest for a second and get going. One of the biggest challenges we have as entrepreneurs is we push too hard. We drive too hard. And what I want to share with you is this. I want to ask you, what's this all for, right? Sometimes, you'll be happy when you get there. Guys, you have to have the perspective even during the race, right? During the fight. You have to have the perspective. I remember when I was a young man, I was a young entrepreneur. My little boy was about 2, maybe 3 years old at the time, my little Isaac, and I was grinding, dude. I was working my job full speed. I was working my business full speed. Drop a 2 if this has ever happened to you, but I came home and I wasn't home. I was home physically. Drop a 2 again if this has ever happened, but mentally I wasn't there. I was thinking about my business. I was thinking about who I needed to call that night. I was thinking about the messages, the emails I needed to get back to, the texts I needed to get back to. So again, I was physically there, but I was actually not even there. And I remember my little boy, I got home and he was 2 or 3 years old. I sat him up on the kitchen counter and he had had a terrible fever all day long, this little boy. And those of you who are parents, when your kids are sick, nothing's worse, right? But the only thing that's worse than that is when they're 2 years old, because when they get a fever, it can get a little dicey because they can't regulate themselves as well as an adult can. So anyway, I set them up on the counter like this, and remember, my mind's still racing. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but it's the truth. My mind's still racing, and I'm kind of putting them on my shoulder like this, and I'm talking to my wife, and my mind's still racing. All the things I got to get done, all the things I got to do, all the things I got to do. And my little boy leans back like this and his eyes roll back in the back of his head. And he starts to have a seizure. And I instantly just snapped into dad mode. And I'm not a CPR specialist or anything else, but put him on the ground and I was trying to make sure he didn't swallow his tongue. I mean, the little boy's having a seizure, freaking me out. So long story short, we call 911, call an ambulance. The ambulance come, you know how it is, the ambulance, the fire trucks, police cars, all of our neighbors are wondering what the heck's going on. And long story short, I follow my little boy, my little 2-year-old boy, to the hospital, and he has what's called, I can't remember the medical term, but it's basically a seizure caused by fever. Those of you that are in the medical community, you'll remember what the term is. But it's basically a seizure caused by fever. The fever gets so high that a little child will actually go into a seizure. And it scared me ever loving to death. So I'm driving to the emergency room, following the ambulance. My wife's in the ambulance, and I'm driving, and I'm in tears. This is a true story. I'm in tears, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am worried about who I'm going to call tonight, who I'm going to text tonight, email. I'm all stressed out about my business, driving. And here, I forgot to just slow down and focus on the things that are really important to us, which is, our relationships, our children, our spouse, our health. Sometimes you just have to slow down. Remember, your goal, Jim Rohn says, beware of what you become in the pursuit of what you want, right? And so sometimes you just got to slow down and just relax a little bit. The business is going to come. I promise you, it's going to come. And the best thing you can do is slow down a little bit. Take more time with people. Invest more in relationships. You can't get some of the time back. So take more time with your children and so on. Now, I'm not saying that you can't grind and you can't make things happen and you can't make this your best year ever with all your accomplishments. But guys, at the end of the day, what good are the accomplishments if we lose ourselves in the process, right? You're not going to be happy once you achieve it. You're happy today. And so I'm just going to encourage each of you to take time to invest in your relationships, take time to invest in your health, make sure you don't neglect your family. And this year, I call them diversion days. And sometimes you don't need an entire day. So, by the way, sometimes you need more than a day. But a diversion day is what a mentor of mine taught me this years ago, where you just shut the engines down. Drop a 3 in the comments if you will commit to yourself to take some diversion days. Now, again, a diversion day can be an hour. You just shut the engines down. Turn your phone off, maybe power it all the way down, and just you divert. You get away from the stress, and you get away from the pressure, and maybe you pour something positive into your life. Maybe you listen to something positive, or surround yourself with someone positive, or maybe you go to a movie. Maybe that's a good release for you. You just chill out and just kind of shut the engines down. Entertain yourself for a moment. So again, those of you that, again, know my story, I'm kind of a point A to point B driving driver. I'd rather have it done yesterday than tomorrow. And so this is something that is not easy for me to share with you because it's a weakness of mine. It's not something that I'm great at. It's like there's a mother that went up to Gandhi, and she said to him, will you tell my little girl not to consume sugar, not to eat any more sugar? And Gandhi said, come back in a week. It's a true story. The mom comes back with her little girl and a week later, and she says, will you tell her, we're back, from a week, we tell her not to consume any more sugar. And Gandhi says, will you come back in a week? And the mom's thinking, what the heck? So she leaves, comes all the way back a week later, and she says, will you tell my little girl to stop eating sugar? And Gandhi says, this little sweet little girl, he says, stop eating sugar. And she said, why did you keep telling me to come back? You made me leave and then come back. And then he said, because I was still eating sugar, and I wasn't going to tell her to do something I wasn't doing. And so what I'm going to share with you is this. This is an important message for those of us who are achievers, and we're really looking to take it to the next level and let's go, next rank, bigger business, bigger income, bigger impact on the world, let's go. And what I'm going to share with you is sometimes you have to slow down, shut the engines down, reset yourself a little bit, make sure your priorities are in line, make sure you're focusing on the things that are important. You can't give what you don't have. And so you can't, empty wells you can't nourish people with empty wells. Moms have the hardest time with this because moms are constantly giving to everybody. And sometimes you can't give what you don't have. It's like in the airplane, when they say with the mask drops down, the air mask, when they drop down, they tell you, don't put it on your children first. Don't put it on your neighbor first. First, what do? You put it on yourself. You got to slow down and put it on yourself. Now, why? Because you can't serve everybody else if you're out of batteries, if you're out of gas. And remember, I meet top performers, in different industries. I have a chance to work with these guys. And they grind and they go. And I try and tell them, dude, slow down. Just relax a little bit. Go for a walk, go for a run, shut the engines down. I know there's pressure to make your business move and to make the things happen, but these challenges haven't come to stay, they have come to pass. And so I'm going to encourage you this year in 2017, make it a priority for yourself to have diversion days, to have diversion hours, diversion time where you can get on the carpet and wrestle with your kids, and you can make sure you don't miss the ball game, and you're there with them, and you're doing the things that you need to be doing to pour into the people, the relationships that are most important. So I love you guys. If you got some value out of this discussion tonight about slowing down, I want you to drop a 4 in the comments. I appreciate you. I admire you. I respect you. I love sales professionals and I love entrepreneurs. We are the people that are on the front lines of the marketplace, and nothing happens until something gets sold. So we're the ones that are out there making things happen. So I respect you and I admire you. And I want this year, for my role as a virtual mentor, right, to be the best year you've ever had. We need opportunity, we need ambition, and we need mentoring. And so I'll do my very best to serve you as a virtual mentor to be able to come on and share perspectives and insights. And my perspective right now is to slow down and remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Only today is guaranteed. So make sure you invest in those kids, invest in your relationships, invest in your health. And you can't give what you don't have. So make sure you're pouring into yourself so you can give to other people as well. All right, guys. Love you. Have a great night. Happy New Year. We'll talk soon.